Today on Steelers News and Rumors by Chat Sports, first up, we're going to be talking about Russell Wilson, where he told the Pat McAfee Show today that his next contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers is already in the works. I'll let you guys know my thoughts on what he had to say on McAfee earlier today. Then George Pickens finally addresses the trade rumors, figure out what he had to say to an Instagram post suggesting that he would be traded to the Washington Commanders later in today's show. Then we'll finish up today's show with a big-name wide receiver. The Steelers are now the favorites to land in free agency in just a few short weeks. Before we get into the content today, make sure you check out our video earlier where I have something, and it's Jaden Daniels' big secret that I think Justin Fields can steal this offseason to become the next superstar quarterback in the National Football League. If that's something that interests you, I'll put the link to that one in the comments and description of today's show, and I'll also put the chip in the top right. All you have to do is click that button to watch that video after you get done with today's video. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button as well and join the Steelers Talk family today to never miss a video on the black and gold. We got extensive postseason coverage over these next many months, talking about the latest news and rumors surrounding this football team. So if you want to become an expert on the 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers, this is the place to get daily coverage. All right, now let's talk about Russell Wilson. We've been talking a lot about Russ. We've been talking a lot about Fields. We've been talking a lot about the quarterback position and the Steelers' options heading into the 2025 offseason. Russell Wilson went on the Pat McAfee Show today and says that his team and the Steelers have already been in talks for a new contract. This is what Russell Wilson had to say on his plans for next season. I've got so much more in me, man. I'm excited. Obviously, my goal is to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers a long time and hopefully finish my career there. And then talking specifically about contract talks here, he says, yes, we have started to talk a little bit, obviously, and we have had our meetings and everything else and kind of just getting into it. So listen, man, some people are taking what Russ said today on McAfee as, oh, the Steelers and Russ are already talking contract, and that means it's definitely going to happen. Russell Wilson will be this team's starting quarterback next year. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, as somebody that, as you guys know, has been a Russell Wilson advocate for a very long time at this point, I'm a bit more skeptical if that's actually what Russ means by what he said about initial talks that he has been having with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have no doubt that Russell Wilson and his team want him to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. I think Russ feels like this is his best last chance to win a Super Bowl, and I think that, he understands that if he hits the open market, there's, the teams that are looking for quarterbacks, there's not a whole lot of teams with the defense, with the head coach stability that the Steelers have here in Pittsburgh. He loves it here, and he talked about how much he loves it here on McAfee today. But, when it comes to the Steelers, it takes two to tango when it comes to signing a quarterback. I'm not sure if the Pittsburgh Steelers want to bring back Russell Wilson, and, I'm not sure. I think Arthur Smith will probably be the one driving the bus on that. I mean, Russ kind of denied that he and Art had a kind of rocky work situation and work relationship, but of course he's going to deny that, right? I think that Arthur Smith, it makes sense that he doesn't love Russell Wilson's play style because it doesn't really fit what he traditionally likes in a quarterback. He likes somebody that can go full field progression read type of stuff, throw the ball over the middle of the field on those intermediate dig routes, all these different things. Bigger guys that are a little bit more mobile than Russ is at this point in his career. So it won't surprise me at all if Arthur Smith decides to move on from Russell Wilson this offseason. And listen, man, what I think here is that I think Russ had a really good exit interview. I think they were very complimentary of each other. I think it's like usually it is with Russell Wilson. It was all positive vibes. I think because of that, Russell Wilson has a pretty good idea that he thinks he's going to be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year. But I think, at the end of the day, this is a business. The Steelers are going to make the decision that they feel is the best for this football team. And I think at the end of the day, that will not include Russell Wilson. But for the record here, guys, I would be fine with bringing back Russell Wilson in 2025. Now, I know a lot of you guys at home are saying, Jack, you're crazy. After a 6-game losing stretch, how could you possibly say you want Russell Wilson to be back in 2025? Well, first of all, I'm not saying he's my number one guy. There are upgrade options out there. But you look at some encouraging stats from Russell Wilson last year. He was one of the most effective downfield throwers in all of football last year. His completion percentage was pretty darn good when you account for drops. The big-time throw percentage was top 6 in the National Football League, so he's still able to fit it in those tight windows down the field. He was top 3 in protecting the football, just a 1.7% turnover-worthy play percentage. His EPA per attempt on 3rd and long when the defense knows he has to throw the football was top 5 as well. And then the downfield yards per attempt was first in the National Football League, and his EPA per attempt when throwing 10-plus yards down the field was also first in the National Football League. So he still throws with great touch, great precision, great accuracy down the field. And when it comes to the things that the Steelers are looking for in their starting quarterback, he is a experienced playoff veteran. It's one of the reasons why they brought him in the first place. I would say the one thing that he doesn't really fit with the Steelers right now is he's not a scheme fit for Arthur Smith, but he can't play in the AFC North conditions. We saw that where he had some of his best games in colder weather this year. Just look at the snow game in Cleveland where he almost led the team back in the second half, had a number of 3rd down and long conversions through the air. And also, high-end downfield passer. We just went over the numbers. He is a high-end downfield passer. He throws with great touch and accuracy and precision to that level of the field. And then he protects the football. He was top 3 in the league in turnover-worthy play percentage. So the one kind of bugaboo here is he's not the best fit for Arthur Smith, but I think if the Pittsburgh Steelers can execute their original plan, all right, have a top 5 to top 10 level run game instead of a bottom 5, bottom 10 level run game, and they don't ask Russell Wilson to be Superman out there because he can't be Superman at this point in his career. I think that if you allow Russ to be a game manager, that's somebody that can go under center, play action, deep shots, be that type of quarterback, I think that he could still be a very solid quarterback 1 here in Pittsburgh, and this team can win 12, even 13 wins with Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback, but the run game has to be the main engine. That is the main thing, and as you guys have heard me say throughout this entire offseason, the run game is the main X factor for the Pittsburgh Steelers in fixing this team for 2025. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. What are the chances that Russ is the Steelers' Week 1 starting quarterback next season? Put it on a scale of 0, meaning no chance he's QB1, to 100, meaning he's definitely going to sign a contract. He's definitely going to be out there Week 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So in just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our friends at Public Rec. While I'm talking about today's sponsor, find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section and answer today's pinned question. Now let's talk about our friends at Public Rec. And let's be real, guys. Wearing uncomfortable clothes just isn't worth it anymore. Why settle for stiff, restricting fabric when you can have something that looks sharp and feels as comfy as your favorite sweats? This year, make the switch to Public Rec where comfort rules. Public Rec isn't just about pants. It's about making sure you stay comfortable no matter what your day throws at you. They have so many great style options that are perfect for just hanging around the house, drinking beers on the golf course, or even when you need to impress the boss in the office. Whatever pants you choose, you'll be blown away by how comfortable they are. And for a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off your entire order with code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off your entire order when you use promo code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. And guys, it's more than just pants. They also have shirts. I just got this brand new shirt from Public Rec. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love the color as well. And when it comes to the pants, guys, what really is the difference maker for me is that I'm tall and skinny, so it's hard for me to find pants that actually fit my body. But with these, not only do they feel like the most luxurious pants you'll ever wear, like they look great, but they also feel super comfortable, but also the customizable and the tailored options that they have on their website is phenomenal as well for me because I can get the right size for my body and they fit me perfectly. Make sure your New Year's resolution is a comfortable one. No more pants that pinch, tug, or annoy. For a limited time only, you guys can get 20% off at Public Rec by using code CHAT20 at checkout. Just head to publicrec.com and use code CHAT20 and you're all set. Oh, and when they ask you how you found them, be sure to mention our show, Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. It really does help us out. Find your perfect fit and never compromise on comfort. Again, Public Rec, where comfort rules. So once again, we're talking about George Pickens and some potential trade rumors here surrounding the number 1 receiver here in Pittsburgh, at least for now. George Pickens responded to a post on Instagram from the 33rd team suggesting that the Pittsburgh Steelers will trade him to the Washington Commanders for a second-round pick. This was the graphic that the 33rd team put on their Instagram page earlier this week. And Pickens' response on Instagram was not very complimentary of that. He said, these pages are not in the building or any facility. Just stop lying for clicks and views, my brother. Well, first of all, George, I don't think that they were claiming that that's what's going to happen. They're just throwing an idea out there. But also, earlier this year, George Pickens clapped back at another social media personality in Frank Michael Smith, And he was even more aggressive towards Frank in that one. He said, "You live in Pittsburgh, just send me your Addy because you can't talk about me and don't want to actually meet me, right? Unless you're a hater and these aren't takes, or you live in Pittsburgh and aren't a fan, which is weird. Let's meet up, Brody. I got some news you might want to hear/feel." So that kind of sounds like a threat right there, if I'm being completely honest. But I just don't think that any of this stuff, responding to people on social media, whatever, is helping anything for George Pickens. If anything, it's hurting his chances of being a Pittsburgh Steeler in 2025 if he's responding to people, all these different things. And, my guess here, so if George is watching, this isn't a report, all right? This is my guess. I think George Pickens will end up getting traded this offseason because I think he's going to want a brand new contract extension. He is going into the final year of his rookie contract. I think he's going to want to get paid. I don't think he's going to want to play on the final year of his rookie contract without a new deal, and I don't think the Steelers want to give him a new deal because of some of the punctuality issues that have been reported in recent weeks. The stuff on Instagram of calling people out, clapping back at people, the inconsistent effort in terms of route running and run blocking that we've seen on film over the last several years. I love George Pickens as a player, man. And I really, really hope that the Pittsburgh Steelers and George Pickens find a way to keep him in the building, all right? Because this guy's a special talent. And, if he can somehow become a Steeler for life here and he can be, special talent that we all know that he can become, that would be certainly really, really positive for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I sincerely hope George finds a way to stay in Pittsburgh here in 2025. So sound off for me down there in the comment section. Will George be on the Steelers next season? Simply give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. For me, I don't think he'll be on the Steelers next season. I think he will get traded. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. So speaking of wide receivers here, the Steelers are currently the betting favorite to land wide receiver Amari Cooper this offseason on the free agency market. He is slated to be a free agent here in 2025. He currently plays for the Buffalo Bills. He was traded from the Browns to the Bills this season, and honestly, he hasn't had the best production in the world. He's getting older. He's on the other side of 30 now. Does bring good size to the table, 6'1", 211 pounds. And, I do think that his production has taken a pretty significant drop-off here in 2024. And, you can make an argument he's not even like the best receiver on the Buffalo Bills anymore. Obviously, the Bills are still playing, but, you look at the stats this year in the regular season for Amari Cooper, and it's a huge decline. I mean, last year he played really, really well for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, and that was with the guys like freaking Joe Flacco and Deshaun Watson, over 17 yards per catch last year and 5 touchdowns total on 1,250 yards. But then this year, huge drop-off in production, just 547 yards total on the year. The average is still pretty decent. He's still a downfield threat when he gets the football and when he catches it. He's had a little bit of a drop issue this year, but only 4 total touchdowns on the year, despite playing for one of the most explosive offenses in all of football. And personally, guys, I would pass on Amari Cooper. I think he might be a little bit too expensive. And even though, he fits the role of somebody that could potentially replace George Pickens as an X-receiver, I think he's too old at this point. I don't think he's as productive as you want him to be. I would personally rather go out and get maybe a guy like Devontae Adams if you want to get a bigger veteran type of option. DeAndre Hopkins is somebody that I would rather have than Amari Cooper at this point. And then, of course, you have the NFL draft at your disposal as well, where there's plenty of high upside type wide receivers that you could get for the future instead of going with a retread guy that's on the way downward in his NFL career. Then to finish up today's show, guys, today's news and rumors, let's talk a little bit about the Jets head coaching job, where Aaron Glenn was officially named the Jets' new head coach today, which of course means Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, will not be named the head coach. He interviewed for both the Bears and the Jets this year, didn't get either position. Of course, Ben Johnson was hired as the Bears head coach a couple days back. So it does appear that Arthur Smith will be back as the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if you don't like that, I mean, you guys can go cry about it in the comment section. I certainly don't love it. But I would have loved for some sucker to take him as their next head coach. But it does appear that he will be back. He does have a mentality that and a vision for the offense that matches what Mike Tomlin wants as a run-first style of offense. So we'll see if he can actually build the run game that he thought he was building in 2024 here in 2025. I'm going to tell you guys right now, they're going to have to get a better number one running back in order to make that happen. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We got more Steelers news and rumors coverage all throughout the offseason blitz here on Steelers Talk. 2 videos a day during the week, one video day during the weekends. We got Steelers Talk Live, our second Steelers Talk Live show of the week tomorrow. Coop and I are going to be going live at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So don't miss that. Click that subscribe button. Until tomorrow, guys, here we go, Steelers.